It's the Friday Feels, and we're back with your first sip of the weekend. You're now tuned in to this week's episode of Your Happy Hour. I'm your host, Nicole Carmine, and it's amazing to have you here, joining me this week as we uncover the truths about being a human and a working professional. What are you up to this Friday? Well, whatever it is, this moment is just for you.
I'm just hoping my voice is going to be okay.
Well, you sound amazing. I mean, it's just amazing. Every time we chat to you, there's just like, wow.
Thank you for being here again, you guys, all of you.
Such a pleasure. With so much love. And yeah. All right. Annalisa, you ready to start?
Sure.
Okay. Perfect.
I think I will start by sharing my most recent critical health challenge, which was a stroke a little over 2 years ago. I was in the hospital for about 10 days. The first 3 days, they weren't sure I was going to make it. And I'm still recovering. You can probably tell my voice has not fully returned. But I'm getting better every day. And I'm so grateful for all your support.
Well, we're very grateful to be able to share in this moment with you, and thank you for sharing that. It's not easy, and we can hear you very well. So I know that every time we've spoken to you, there's this just massive improvement, which means whatever you're doing behind the scenes is working. And we'd love to know more about that. And I also want to say a big welcome to Helena and Diane into the space. We'll chat a little bit more to them in a while, but I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure.
And in DNA reprogramming. I know it's been beyond what you just shared, such a long journey, and it's such a pleasure to have you here to talk about that.
My story begins over 25 years ago. I was on an airplane heading to the University of Glasgow with a teaching team. I was part of the team, and I began to fall asleep on the plane, and then I woke up with a startled thought. It would be okay with me if the plane went down. I never had such thoughts before. Not that I wanted all those people to die. When I arrived in Scotland, I thought I had the worst case of jet lag ever because I felt very lethargic, very achy, painful, so much so that I was not able to teach like I was supposed to. I stayed in bed. At the time, I had quite a negative emotional feeling going on. At the time, I was married to a man for over 25 years who was 16 years my senior. And when we first got together, I was in my early 20s. He was an older, established person. We both enjoyed quite a few sports. We enjoyed volleyball and running and bicycling and motorcycling and hiking, you name it, we did it. But as time went by, we didn't have anything in common except our dogs. That was the only joyful part of our lives that we had. I believe that underneath all illnesses is an emotional component because that sets off cortisol and other stress hormones in our bodies. So mine was feeling very stressed with the marriage, being very, very unhappy. I began to have symptoms when I returned home that were quite intense, very, very painful. Hair loss. My hair fell so much so I thought I was going bald. And I began to lose my eyesight. Walking across the room, I'd be out of breath. And so when I began to go blind, I was driven 6 hours to a hospital in Seattle where there was a full week of emergency testing done. At the end of that emergency testing, I was given a really dire prognosis and diagnosis. I was told I had a rare autoimmune disease called scleroderma. It's not healable, according to them, and that I'd have to get used to it because I'd be an invalid for the rest of my days and never have a normal, healthy life again. At first, I felt a bit angry. I thought, how dare this person tell me what my life is going to be like? I went home, and luckily, I spent the rest of the day with an intuitive friend who's also a healer. She saw that I was quickly losing life force. And so she worked with me to help me get to release the fear that had gripped me. Because I realized basically what I was being told was there's no hope for you. You're going to die. And we don't heal unless love is a prominent feeling. I had to be in love with my body again. And so we worked hard for that to happen. Luckily, I did release fear, and I began to notice that my body was working very, very hard for me to keep me alive, even though my organs were all shutting down. Luckily, I came across the work of a biophysicist, Dr. Glenn Ryan, who did brain DNA research. And I compiled a list of the research he did and thought, I'll use it on myself to heal, which I did every day, several times a day. And within 6 months, I was back to health. I didn't have hair. It was growing slowly, but I was healthy. I could drive again. I could walk without pain. It was a miracle. And I was told I was a miracle. I believe it because 25 years later, here I am. I'm still alive, even though that was not the expectation at all. And I believe we all have within us innate capabilities to heal. I'm not special. I'm not different. We all can do it. And so I was asked to start a course called DNA Reprogramming course online, which I did to help other people learn the steps I took to heal my body. And so that is still something that people can do today. And on top of the course, we have a free program which Diane and Helena are part of. Their DNA Support Angels, which is a free gift to everyone who takes the course. They can choose a support angel to work with them, support them through. These are wonderful people, really, really special people.
Wow. Annalisa, that's quite a journey. And I must be honest, I'm wiping away tears. I feel like every time I talk to you guys, I'm crying. But it's just incredible what you've done. And she's such a beautiful gift to the world. And an example that we are not only just human, but we're divinely human.
Yes.
We really are powerful.
Yes.
And in the end of the day, we have a source within us that we can tap back into to help us heal. And I do believe that too. I believe that, every illness has an emotional manifestation through our physical being. I know Louisa Hay often talks about that too, and I've often researched some of her work. If there's a backache and you go look and you've got some financial stress or whatever it is. But I do believe that we are able to heal ourselves. But it's not every day that I get the chance to speak to someone who has in the way you have. And it's such a privilege. And I think it's so wonderful that you've started what you have. And I want to acknowledge Elena and Diane as well in what you've been doing through that. I think it's so important to have support systems when you're going through difficult times, because life already is just such a lonely journey as it is, So whereabouts are you in the process now? I know something like you mentioned recently happened, and after all that healing, you've gone through something again, and how's that feeling for you?
The stroke. I'm looking forward to being able to get my voice back and speak healthfully and normally again. I can walk fine. Everything else is working pretty well, but my voice is still healing.
Well, I think it's healing very well. And I'm quite curious, when you're working with people and when you've worked with yourself, what do you find is the hardest thing for people to kind of step into that, let me heal? Is there something that you feel really holds us back that we can work through?
Fear, just like me. And the emotional component behind the stroke was my feeling that I'm not good enough. That's a very common one. The belief that we're not good enough.
I think fear manifests so differently for all of us, and it depends on what has happened in your life and perhaps, previous lives, if you believe in that. And so we all have to deal with all these emotions. And I want to take a quick moment also to mention how I got to know about you guys, which is through my mom, Anita. And she's also gone through her own healing journey. And it's been such a privilege to watch that from the side. And she introduced me to all of you, which has just been so wonderful to have this discussion. And I'd love to learn a little bit more about how it works in the DNA reprogramming. And perhaps Diane or Helena, you'd love to share a little bit about how you got to know Annalisa.
Thanks, Nicole. I guess one of the pieces that Annalise didn't mention is how she's created a community of love. She managed to pull together people during the pandemic from around the world. And our first course had about 100 plus people in it. And within that, we created healing circles where we've gotten to know each other. Nicole, your mom, Anita, was one of the people in the healing circle that Helena and I have been part of. And we are continuing, year after year, getting connected once a month and really just caring about each other, and bringing the love that Annalise brought to our community. We all feel that love, and it's just been an important piece of taking the specific details that Annalise taught us through the course. Lots of information, lots to integrate, lots to practice. But the most important piece, I think, is that implementation, is doing the practices and supporting each other through the process. And similarly, when Annalise had the stroke 2 years ago, there was so much love from the community towards her. And, I just can't tell you how much people care and how appreciative we've been of Annalise and the community that she's created. And, I think that's been part of the healing for all of us.
Yeah, I feel like we're all growing together in this way. And it's so great that you created this community and connection. I think is like the web of love that we spread across the world, and being able to see people's healing journey. I'm sure that's just so rewarding in that experience, and being able to feel held in that is just a gift. So yeah, that's incredible. And Helena, I know you're also involved, and you also have some journey with the DNA reprogramming.
Well, what can I add? I think there are a lot of ways to look at healing, and there are ways of understanding it. But what Annalise, gives you more than just understanding how to heal is the love. Her presence radiates through the field that she created as a family, actually, a global family through which we feel that we are all connected, and bringing us back to our heart as a portal to the field of unlimited possibilities. It's not just about understanding, it's about feeling it. And you don't do that with your mind, you do that with your heart. I think that's for me at least, the greatest gift that I received from joining her course and participating for the past almost 5 years now in this global family.
Yeah, I think heart-based living is where it's at, right?
Yeah.
And how do we step more into our heart? I don't know. I mean, Annalisa, how did you start doing that more in your journey? Maybe for each one of you, it'd be interesting to hear.
Well, I learned it through Dr. Glenn Bryant's work. He recommended the heart math, heart breathing. And so I looked into that and found out how to do it myself. And then that's part of the protocol that people learn. To do heart-based breathing, it's like breathing through the heart. And really, like Helena says, really feeling it as we do that.
That's really interesting. I mean, I think we're all so focused on our breath, like that we used to as you learn to kind of breathe and what is like standard breathing, but we're not really focused on like heart breathing, and that's a whole different thing. I mean, if I think of that now, if I have to sit with it, it kind of slows you down, it calms you down in so many ways. Yeah, because your heart and everyone's heart has its own rhythm, right? And then that's kind of walking life on your own drum, beating your own drum in a way. I love that. And what's that been like for you guys, Diane and Elena, kind of doing more heart-based breathing?
I guess I'll say for myself, I have been really fortunate. My career was working in schools as a school counselor, school psychologist. And so I would have a whole building of 500 children that I got to know as little children and all the way up through their teenage years, kindergarten through 8th grade. And so for me, operating from my heart was just part of my work. When I think about it, how fortunate to have a job where you can just be there and love the children and, be there to support them and their parents and their teachers. And, just recognizing that living from your heart can just be part of who you are. And so when I connected with Annalise's work, it made total sense to me. Just being in our heart and being available with our heart and connecting to other people with our heart. So to me, it was just a continuation of the beautiful opportunity I had with my profession.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think we all need to go back to being our inner children, right? It's love that. And for you, Lena?
Well, if I look back before I started the course, I knew a lot of stuff, how to do it, and I might have been doing it already, but I wasn't really feeling it or applying it. And I remember being a very fragmented being. I saw the universe and God and my soul and my body and all of these parts of me, and I was in conflict with them. Somehow I was residing in many forms of identities within myself. You could call them shadow areas, pain, and they were shouting that nothing of life, like the universe or God or soul or whatever you want to call it, none of them were listening to me, and they weren't seeing my pain. But through the course, I realized I'm the one that's not listening, because all of these fragments actually they're all part of the same self. As long as you are in your mind, these voices are shouting, and they are shouting against each other, and it's chaos. But once you move into your heart, you really start to feel unconditional love. You can't think about it, you have to feel it. And unconditional love means, for me right now, to embrace everything, all of it. And in the end, loving the experience of your life unconditionally, whatever that may be. You might have days that are not going well, but it's part of your experience, it's part of your life, and you can love that as well. And once you grow towards that perspective within you, then everything is bliss somehow. Although it might sound like a paradox, it is. So that's what the heart breathing and living from your heart has been bringing me. It's a journey in itself to step out of your head and move towards your heart. You can't force it. You can't think about it. You can't plan it. You just have to experience it and show up for yourself every day, over and over again. And that's one of the things that's so great about these healing circles and this global family, is that we're all unconditionally accountability partners for each other. There's no judgment, just love. And we're mirroring that to each other.
Beautiful, Lena.
It's so beautiful. I love it. I think we all trying to remember ourselves, and we have to go through the journey of life to do it. It's just part of it, as hard as we might resist it and fight it, it's there for us. And I love that we can understand that there's the love and the fear, and love always kind of conquer over the fear, like you were saying, Annalisa. I know it's not been easy for you in your journey. I'm sure you've had so many challenging times, challenging days, moments and days that are challenging. Do you have a mantra or something that you tell yourself when you have a moment that you can share?
I remember a long time ago, maybe 30 years ago, being in a seminar where the leader, a man, said, I know I'm not good enough, but if I were to rate myself, I give myself 70%. And that's what I do. I now hold I'm 70% good enough. I'm not perfect. I know that. But 70% is good enough for me.
I love it. We're imperfectly perfect beings, and it's the joy. But we're so hard on ourselves, right? And we end up getting ourselves into situations where we. I think a lot of the decisions we make in our lives is a mirror of the inside. I often say that like our external reality reflects our internal reality. And so I know I've also made difficult decisions in my life where I compromised who I was and I became very small and also quite sick and had to heal from that. And so I really appreciate that you could climb out of those situations and change your reality. You know, I think it's a bit of alchemy. You know, when you take something that's really bad and you change it into something that's good, you're being like a magician. You know, and that's beautiful. Well, I would love to just sort of wrap it up a little with maybe one last question, and that is just like any message that you have for everyone out there that's maybe going through something difficult and how they can reach you guys and, you know, how to learn more about getting involved and where to find you. And we'll definitely put it all on the socials when we share this, which will be such a privilege. And for everyone else listening out there, I hope you are thinking about how you're feeling and how you're breathing with your heart or not, or how to get into alignment. But if you feel the need to kind of, you know, get more in touch with yourself and remember who you are and rid yourself of fear, there is a wonderful community to tap into. So what is the best way to find you guys?
Look at DNA reprogramming online. Everything is online. So that's how to find us. And we don't charge much, just a basic fee for the course. It's not about money. It's about healing. We all have that innate ability. And so the joy is helping others find that ability within themselves.
Amazing.
That's beautiful, Annalise. And just adding that anybody that wants to connect with the DNA reprogramming, we welcome everyone into the global family. We will make sure that you have a one-to-one volunteer working with you if that's something that will be helpful in your journey. And many people have found that to be true. And also we have healing circles going on, different times, different places, all on Zoom. And we, again, would invite anybody that gets connected to join us. Also, there's a Facebook group for the DNA reprogramming, again, where people are invited. And so there's closeness within the community, within the family, and there's also openness to expand and share all the beautiful things that Annalise teaches in the online course. And then, just the love and the care connection that comes with the healing circles.
The online course is just the beginning. There are no limits. Everything is possible beyond what we believe to be at this moment. Yeah. The universe only does upgrades. That's my mantra.
I love that. I was, I don't often go on Instagram, but I opened it up the other day and it popped up and it said, universe is not on a budget. You can, it's just what I needed to hear. And it's true for everything in life. I love that the universe is really only there to serve us, even though we might feel that it's often berating us in so many ways. So thank you. And I just want to say a huge thank you to all three of you for sharing on the Feels podcast. And it's been this is a very special session that I'm really excited to share with everyone. And I hope more to come. I hope there's so many beautiful stories to be told from your community. And so we'll definitely chat about that. And thank you. And thank you, Annalisa, for your bravery and your courage and being an example of heart-based living for everyone. So
thank you for having us. It's been a huge pleasure. And you are a lovely heart. So thank you also.
It means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Nicole. Yeah. And Annalise, just wanted to say, even, compared to a month ago when we were practicing doing this, the gains you are making are just phenomenal. It's just so beautiful to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So next time, it's even better.
For sure.
And of course it will be.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, everybody.
Bye.
Much love.
Big love. Bye-bye.
If you haven't just yet, follow Friday Feels on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and LinkedIn. You can share with us all your feels this week by tagging us at fridayfeels.co. And you can also find the website at that handle. And now, as you ease into this weekend, take a moment. Celebrate who you've become, what you've overcome, and what is yet to come as you do the crazy and cool things that you do as the authentic you. You know, the truth about life and work is that it's hard, but the beauty is this global working experience that you're in, well, we earn it together. So keep connecting, empowering, and inspiring this week. And of course, keep it raw and real. Until next time.